Good evening. This is David Unsworth, host of the PanAm Post English podcast. Today, Argentina went to the polls in congressional elections that pitted Mauricio Macri's Cambiemos Party against a divided opposition in which former President Cristina Kirchner broke with the Peronist party to found her own political movement, Citizens Unity. All eyes were on the Senate seats up for grabs in the province of Buenos Aires, where Kirchner was defeated by a 4-point margin by Macri's candidate, former Minister of Education Esteban Bullrich. Tonight we will be joined by Buenos Aires-based journalist and PanAm Post contributor Marcelo Duclos to discuss the election results. Marcelo, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Hello, David.
It's pretty late there. It's after midnight, right?
Right now, actually, we're midnight right now, but it's very usual for Argentina because our system to count the votes, it's very primitive. So actually, we're used to this situation. If you want to get clear results, you need to go to sleep after maybe 1 a.m. in the morning. So it's very common and regular situation for us here.
It's gonna be a late night. So
yeah.
The tema principal, as we say in Spanish, the main theme of the night, it was a very good night for Mauricio Macri and not so great a night for Cristina Kirchner, and particularly for the Peronist party that kind of is the opposition movement that's split in half now. How bad of a night is this for Cristina Kirchner?
It's as you said in the first place, I think it's a dream night by Macri and Cambiemos, because they won in almost all the provinces in the country, in a few districts with a huge difference from the second. I mean, here in the city of Buenos Aires, Elisa Carrió got more than the 50% of the votes, and the second candidate was about 25 points after that. So actually, for the government, it was a great night because, as you said, the mother of all battles was in the province where Cristina Kirchner actually won in the primaries back in August with a very, very short margin. We're talking about a difference less than a point, but it looks like that a lot of people that choose in the primaries to the third candidate, Massa, who got almost about 15%, he got 11 today, and that's a very clear situation because when they look hand in hand, Mauricio Macri struggling, Cristina Kirchner, they prefer to give the vote to the government. So actually she lost this first place and got into a second place.
Now another factor in this election that actually turned out to be not much of a factor at all, it appears, was the disappearance of a young activist named Santiago Maldonado, who was fighting, I believe, in the south of Argentina and involved in a political protest about rights of some indigenous Mapuche people. And
That's right.
his body was found, was it yesterday or very recently, and the autopsy results revealed that he drowned. How did that play all into this election?
Actually, the case for Santiago Maldonado was the main theme here in Argentina. He was disappeared August the 1st. As you said, he was part of a manifestation. These Mapuches groups, they used to do some violent manifestation, and they were cutting one road to actually in the south was the only road to cross from Argentina to Chile, and back in the Kirchner's time, it was pretty clear that if you want to cut a road, a street, you can do it, and if you have plans or you need to cross to do something, even if you're in an ambulance and you need a medical attention, you might be dead because the police wouldn't support, because they were not willing to show authority with the violence manifestation. That thing is one of the subjects that Mauricio Macri is trying to change. So Gendarmería actually went there and actually
took down the
set this
roadblock.
road free. And when this group Mapuches went away, it looks like that it has been some struggle, and this guy, young Santiago Maldonado, disappeared. So the left parties and the Kirchnerism blamed to the government in the first place. They accused to Gendarmeria to kidnap or kill this guy. And for the last 3 months, 2 months and a half in Argentina, the Kirchnerism was blaming to the government that they thought that he might be kidnapped or killed.
And obviously with the history of Argentina in the 1980s, the military dictatorship and so forth, the desaparecidos.
That's what they tried to relate. That's right. That's what's precisely the thing that they were trying to relate. They were saying that in Argentina, those dark practicals of the military dictatorship are back because they're fighting the protesters or the manifestation with terrorism from the state. The thing is, his body was found last week, 3 days before the election, and 1 day before the election, we're talking about yesterday on Saturday, the autopsy revealed that the guy actually was drowned in the water, maybe when the group was running from the gendarmes. So it was very clear that what the Kirchnerism said about a possible kidnap or an homicide, that was vanished from one day to the other. And actually, if you ask me, to have this autopsy 1 day before the election actually was something good for the government, because it destroyed this accusation from the Kirchner.
Sure. Macri definitely, I'm sure, breathed a sigh of relief and so forth. And, obviously the parties of the left were hoping to exploit a situation like this for better or for worse, but that's the nature of politics. A question for you now. So I'm looking at these results at the national level here. Cambiemos got about 42% of the votes. Kirchnerismo and allied parties about 20%. Then the Partido Justicialista about 16%. So what is the relationship now between Kirchner and her allies and the Peronist or Justicialista Party? Are they going to be united in opposing Mauricio Macri, or are they going to try to make a deal? Are they kind of going to try to triangulate here and each have their own strategy?
I think that number wouldn't remain as a picture or something, definitely, because in Peronism the loyalty actually depends on your political capital. So I think that might be changed for if you look in the Peronism, it's pretty clear that a lot of guys who are running provinces, a lot of people in the party really realize that Cristina Kirchner has no chance to be president again. Why is that? Because if you look at the whole map, you will find that when Kirchnerism went alone, the results was a complete disaster. And when Cristina went to fight herself in the province, we're talking about Provincia de Buenos Aires, that is the major district for her when she's strong, she lost. I mean, she couldn't even win her natural district. We're talking about also Provincia Santa Cruz when Néstor Kirchner was governor. They lost also there. So for Peronism, it's pretty clear that she won't be the best leader to have in 2 years trying to get the presidential election. But on the other hand, it's pretty clear that she's the most strong candidate in Peronism, but actually it's not enough to win an election. So you have this particular situation when you have a lot of people in the party trying to get rid of this lady, and this lady is the main player, but she has no strength enough to win in a national level. So actually it's the best case scenario for Mauricio Macri. Maybe one of the possible results of this election is to have a some group in Peronism who might realize that it's impossible to win to Mauricio Macri in 2 years. Even the support for the people in the whole country was very, very clear today. So it's possible that they will try to get a new leadership, thinking in the future, because if they stay with this lady, there's no chance, and Peronism, it's their specialists to smell the blood, to know where to run, and
so
she might be the second, but yeah.
What is the relationship going to look like between Mauricio Macri and Cristina Kirchner going forward? And how will the smaller parties play into this? Like, for example, it was a very bad night for Sergio Massa, but he still controls a block, a fairly sizable block in the Cámara the House of Representatives, or diputados as you call it. What is the strategy going to look like going forward? But you
need to interpret that in an Argentinian key. So if he has, I don't know, let's check. Today, Sergio Massa, he has, right now he's
22?
counting with 21 votes, 21 seats right now.
Uh-huh.
If you ask me if these 21 seats will remain with Sergio Massa in 2 weeks,
hard to say.
I don't know. It's hard to say. So actually, in the relationship between Mauricio Macri and Cristina Kirchner, theoretically, if you read the declarations, if you talk with the supporters of Macri or Cristina, they're supposed to be the two big rivals. But if you go deeper, you might find even that it's possible to be in the doors of the new alliance, because it's pretty clear that Cristina Kirchner can go to jail any minute. The evidence against her is pretty obvious. A lot of people from her government go into jail. There has been some trials recently. A lot of ministers. There's a lot of complicated people within the Kirchner's former government, and Cristina is supposed to be going to the same direction. But why she remains in free? Why she's not in jail right now? Maybe, I mean, we're talking about South America. It's very regular situation that the judiciary system with the courts and the justice, it's very, very related to the politics and what's going on with the local politics. It's not a good thing to say, but we needed to assume it, and that is very clear. And if you ask me, is Mauricio Macri is interested to have Cristina Fernández de Kirchner in jail? I don't know, because if she's going to continue playing in politics, continue running as a candidate, as you see today, she was going to continue splitting the position. So actually, if she's going to remain in freedom and in a political competition, that's a very, very good news for Macri. So theoretically, they're the two big rivals. But I think if you search and scratch a little bit, you might find a possible alliance here.
That's a very interesting point. It may serve Macri's interest to have Kirchner dividing the opposition and being kind of a weak leader of the opposition. And what does Kirchner get out of it? Well, for now at least, she stays out of jail, and maybe Macri lets up a little bit on the corruption investigations and so forth. Question for you. To what degree, this is obviously, like we said, a very bad night for the Partido Justicialista, the Peronist party. To what degree do you sense anger on the part of the Justicialista Party at Cristina Kirchner for dividing the opposition and taking away a lot of their seats in both chambers of Congress?
It's funny because both the Peronism outside the Kirchnerism and the Kirchnerism blame the other one for the same thing. Because the Peronists say to Cristina, Macri is winning because you're playing, and if you were out of the game, it's pretty clear that another candidate for Peronism might have a chance with Mauricio Macri. And on the other hand, Cristina says, look, it's pretty clear if you watch the numbers, if you put your numbers with my numbers, we're winning against Macri. So actually, there's this ambiguous situation, and they accuse the same thing, the two groups. But if you looked at the picture today when Cristina were talking, when she assumed that Cambiemos was winning the province, in the people with Cristina, you will find, for example, the president of the Peronist party with Cristina. So actually, the party went with Randazzo, who got 5% of the votes, but the authorities of the legal authorities of Partido Justicialista, Peronism, were playing with Cristina. So actually, this situation that actually is pretty difficult for me to explain if you're not involved with this Argentinian politics, because it's so strange. But it's pretty clear that a lot of people in the Peronist party, they're trying to get rid of this lady, but actually from now on, that's not a thing to see in the future soon, because her speech was very, very clever. She recognized the was winning, but also she attacked the opposition. She even attacked more to the opposition than to Macri, because she said it's pretty clear that we are the only group who has a chance against Mauricio Macri.
Right. She wants to marginalize. She wants to marginalize the Justicialista.
She was saying, if you want to fight this guy, it's pretty clear that
to
you
my
need
side.
to go with me. That's right.
Now
that was her speech.
Now, Marcelo, where do you see Macri? Obviously, Macri was in a relatively weak position with regard to Congress before tonight. Now he's definitely in the driver's seat. You know, he's holding the reins here. Where do you see him going forward with his domestic agenda? What are the big steps he wants to take, and who is he going to cooperate with to do that?
For example, the first one to congratulate the president was governor from Salta, the Peronist Ortubey, and in the same key, Sergio Massa talked when he assumed the results today. So if you see how is the behavior of this Peronism, it's pretty clear that they are willing to cooperate, that they're not going nowhere if they want to struggle big time with the government. So actually, right now, Cambiemos increased both chambers in Senate and in Diputados also, but even the new seats that the government has, I think they might find some good predisposition for the people in Peronism to pass some important reforms that Argentina needs. I just heard Mauricio Macri; he was dancing, happy.
I saw that. He has some pretty good dance moves.
Yeah,
I saw it on CNN in Espanol. So if you're a betting man or a betting woman, is it a very solid bet to say that this is basically we are looking at Mauricio Macri re-election in 2019?
Yes, it's pretty clear. But in the middle of the dancing and the singing, I just get with one sentence that he said. He said, the world is not a threat to us. If we want the world, it will be an opportunity for us. So even with all these balloons and the dance, I think in that small sentence, you can interpret what Argentina Mauricio Macri is thinking. Also, the mayor from Buenos Aires, Rodríguez Larreta, when he was celebrating, he says also, he gave us one sentence. He mentioned that we really need an education, a reform education, and that was the big discuss with the left here in Buenos Aires. A lot of people took the schools and the classes were suspended, and it was a big conflict. So I think for the first time they're interpreting that they can do some real changes. I mean, it's pretty clear that Argentina needs some real reforms. Till this day, if you talk off the record with the people from the government, they will say, if you criticize them for to not to be so clear with these reforms that we need, they will give you this answer. We know that we need to do that, but we don't have the strength enough right now to do that. If we're trying to go this way, we will fail, and the Peronism will be back soon. First, we need to increase our representation. We need to increase the numbers in the Congress, and then we might find the opportunity to do such reforms.
Sure.
I think for what I heard today, or I don't know if it's a wish, but it looks like that at least they think that they have some of this power. Right now, it's a reality.
We've been speaking with Buenos Aires-based journalist Marcelo Duclos about the Argentine congressional election results, in which Mauricio Macri and his Cambiemos Party had a very, very successful night. Marcelo, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Great. Take care.
Take care.
And I know it's very complicated to explain this Argentinian politics, but we will do our best.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.